We live in a world that constantly asks, what do you do? What have you achieved? What's next on your list? Rarely do we pause to ask, who am I when I'm not doing? Who am I when I simply exist? The question is simple but profound. Are you living as a human being or as a human doing? For many of us, somewhere along the way, our worth got tangled up in our performance. We began to believe that love, respect, and even belonging had to be earned. That who we are was not enough. We had to prove it through grades, careers, money, or constant productivity. Think back for a moment. As a child, were you praised more for what you did than for who you were? Did your worth feel measured by report cards, achievements, or how good you behaved? If so, you're not alone. This is how society conditions us. And slowly, without realizing it, we turn into human doings. Always striving, always performing, always chasing approval. From a psychological perspective, this is deeply tied to something called conditional self-worth. Psychologists have long studied how early environments shape our identity. When love or validation is conditional, when it's given only when we succeed and withheld when we fail, the nervous system learns to equate doing with safety. As adults, this wiring makes us restless, anxious, and unable to sit still without guilt. We measure our value by how much we produce, not by who we are inside. But here's the truth. Who you are in your being is infinitely more valuable than what you achieve in your doing. When you strip away the degrees, the job titles, the likes on social media, what's left? Your kindness, your compassion, your ability to sit with a friend in silence and make them feel less alone, your laugh, your presence, your authenticity. These are not things you do. They are qualities of your being, and they are priceless. Yet most of us spend our lives ignoring them. We overwork, we overcommit, we chase milestones. We live in constant motion, afraid of what we might feel if we stopped. It's almost as if stillness itself feels dangerous. Because when you stop doing, you come face to face with yourself. And that can be terrifying if you've never learned to value who you are without your achievements. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone who is constantly busy, excelling at work, keeping everyone happy, hitting every deadline. On the surface, they look successful. But deep down, if you ask them, who are you when you're not achieving? They might not know what to say. That emptiness, that unease, it's the sign of living as a human doing. Now contrast that with someone who knows their worth is not tied to performance. They still achieve, they still set goals, but they don't collapse when they fail. They don't lose themselves when they rest. They can sit quietly with their own thoughts and still feel valuable. That is what it means to live as a human being. And here's something important. Being doesn't mean laziness. It doesn't mean giving up on goals or growth. It means that your doing comes from your being, not the other way around. When your sense of worth is rooted in your being, your actions are no longer desperate attempts to prove yourself. They become expressions of who you already are. From a psychological standpoint, this shift is about moving from extrinsic motivation, where we act to gain approval, status, or rewards, to intrinsic motivation, where we act out of alignment with our values, passions, and inner truth. Extrinsic motivation drains you because it depends on external validation. Intrinsic motivation sustains you because it flows from being. So how do you return to being? First, you must practice awareness. Notice when you tie your worth to performance. Pay attention to the inner voice that says, I'm only valuable if I achieve this. That voice is not truth, it's conditioning. Second, reclaim stillness. Allow yourself moments where you are not productive, not performing, not proving, and remind yourself that you still matter. This may feel uncomfortable at first because your nervous system has been trained to equate stillness with danger. But over time, your body learns that you are safe, even when you're not achieving. Finally, reconnect with your values. Ask yourself, if I had nothing to prove, what would I still love to do? How would I choose to live? The answers to these questions point you back to being. At its heart, this isn't just about productivity or rest. It's about identity. It's about reclaiming the truth that you were valuable the moment you took your first breath, before you ever achieved anything. You were loved simply for existing. Somewhere along the way, life may have convinced you otherwise. But the journey of wisdom is returning to that original truth. So ask yourself, are you living as a human being or a human doing? If your worth feels tied to your performance, if rest feels like guilt, if failure feels like the end of the world, Maybe it's time to remember that who you are is enough. Your kindness, your presence, your authenticity. They are worth more than any title, any paycheck, any applause. Because at the end of your life, no one will remember you only for what you did. They will remember how you made them feel, who you were when you showed up, and the essence of your being. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoy content like this.